In the quiet velvet cradle of night, a crimson ember glows with stories untold. Its light travels softly over sleeping lands, a distant world breathing in silent rhythm. You gaze upward and wonder begins to stir. You lie quietly, your body nestled in warmth, your eyes closed gently. But before sleep takes you fully, let your mind travel beyond the familiar blue sky to a neighbor that glows with a steady, rusty light. This is Mars, the red planet, softly whispering secrets across millions of miles of space, inviting you on a peaceful journey in your dreams. When you look up at the night sky on a clear, crisp evening, that tiny reddish dot has been watching over you just as steadily as Earth watches over you now. Unlike the twinkling stars scattered like silver dust, Mars burns with a subtle warmth, a candle flickering faintly in the vast darkness. Its light reaches you slowly, carrying with it the memories of a world both strange and quietly familiar. Imagine Mars as a gentle wanderer in the cosmic ocean, moving through the heavens with a graceful, looping dance. Ancient people looked up at this crimson traveler and noticed how it sometimes hesitated, turning backward in the night sky. This motion, called retrograde, made Mars seem like a thoughtful companion, pausing along its path to ponder its journey. This mysterious dance puzzled stargazers for thousands of years. They imagined that Mars had a mind of its own, a silent will guiding its steps across the sky. Yet today, we understand that Mars's backward steps are a matter of perspective, much like when you're driving past a slower car on a long road, and it seems to drift gently backward for a moment. Mars's pretend pause is a quiet wink from the universe, reminding you that even the heavens hold gentle surprises. As you let your thoughts drift, picture the sky thousands of years ago, where people named Mars after gods of war and battle, inspired by its red glow, like the color of warmth and courage. But beneath this fiery color lies a calm landscape, wrapped in silence, where the wind whispers softly and the dust tells a story older than any human memory. Mars was born in the solar system's early nursery, a swirling cloud of dust and gas that gathered slowly around a young sun, a sun just beginning to shine with gentle light. The material that formed Mars was a little shy, smaller and lighter than that which built Earth. This smaller size meant Mars held onto its warmth only for a short while before cooling like a fading ember in a dying fire. Now, think of Mars as a faded book, pages weathered and edges softened by time. Its surface holds traces of what once was, frozen rivers that danced across its plains, ancient lakes resting in quiet craters, and towering mountains that rise so high they nearly touch the skies. The planet wears these stories like delicate lace, embroidered by the slow unfolding of time. Your mind can wander among these mountains frozen in stillness, where giant volcanoes reached as high as 22 kilometers above plains bathed in dust. Imagine climbing their gentle slopes, where gravity feels lighter, your footsteps soft as falling feathers. These volcanoes grew slowly, quietly, pouring lava that shaped the red earth beneath a thin, fragile atmosphere. Beneath the stillness, Mars whispers of water, once flowing rivers and vast oceans that shimmered beneath a soft pink sky. Time has slipped by, and the warm embrace of water faded, retreating underground, or frozen in distant poles. The silent polar caps breathe with the seasons, like icy crowns gleaming in the pale sunlight. Yet, even in this quiet, the wind speaks, not in storms, but in gentle sighs, carrying fine grains of iron-rich dust in slow-moving columns called dust devils. These whirlwinds dance across the surface, tracing ancient patterns and sweeping away footprints like whispers erased by the breath of time. The dust itself is a fragile blanket, rust-colored and persistent, coloring the planet with the warmth of forgotten suns. As you let your breath slow, you can almost hear the soft hiss of this thin air, the gentle murmur of a world waiting patiently. Though the atmosphere is less than 1% as thick as Earth's, it holds the delicate promise of stories yet to be uncovered. In this quiet space, you feel a kinship with Mars, a companion that has watched the stars pass overhead for billions of years, unchanging and serene. The light from its dusty surface glows, not with noise or haste, but with the steady pulse of endurance. And here you stand, in your mind's eye, beneath a butterscotch sky. The sun is smaller, warmer, and gentler here, filtering through reddish haze. Twilight brings a hush that is almost sacred, a moment when the blue of the sunset surrounds the sun like a soft, glowing veil. From this peaceful place, You look upward once more. There, drifting silently, are two small moons, irregular, lumpy shapes, companion stones cradled in the sky. They cast fleeting shadows and remind you of the delicate balance in which this quiet world spins. Let your thoughts settle, like the dust that drifts down slowly to rest. Mars is not a harsh world, but a quiet one, a slow storyteller whose voice you can hear only if you listen softly. It invites you to wonder, to be curious, but above all, to rest in its gentle company. Tonight, as your eyes close and your mind drifts towards sleep, carry with you the thought of a distant ember glowing softly in the cosmic night. Mars speaks in whispers, in the rustle of dust and the shimmer of ancient ice, of rivers long dried and mountains that stand like silent sentinels. And as you float into dreams, remember, you are part of a universe vast and patient, where even the smallest light holds stories as old as time, stories waiting just for you to hear. As you drift deeper into sleep, imagine the dance of the Red Wanderer, slow, steady, and never hurried. What other secrets might Mars hold in the silence, just beyond your reach? Across deep skies, a steady ember glides, not fixed like stars, but wandering with grace, a cosmic dance, slow and deliberate, tracing loops in the silent sea above. You watch, and wonder grows with every turn as your body sinks deeper into comfort. Your mind turns gently upward, beyond the ceiling of your room, to that glowing red light that punctuates the night. Mars, the wandering planet. You might have noticed it before. How unlike the steady glitter of stars, Mars moves in a slow, deliberate dance across the heavens for countless generations. People have watched this fiery traveler with awe and curiosity. Unlike the stars, which wheel above us in fixed patterns like a great cosmic clock, Mars wanders, moving eastward among the stars for much of the year, then pausing, hesitating, even seeming to reverse direction before sweeping forward again. This strange hesitation is called retrograde motion, a looping step in a dance that was once as mysterious as it was beautiful. Imagine it this way. You are sitting in a car cruising steadily on a long road. Ahead, a car travels more slowly. For a moment, as you pass it, the slower car appears to drift backward in your view before it continues forward. That sensation, though an illusion of perspective, is the same reason Mars seems to step backward in the sky. Long ago, this behavior puzzled astronomers. Without modern telescopes or spacecraft, they could only catalogue what they saw, weaving myths and stories to explain the unusual patterns. The Babylonians called Mars Nergal, the god of war and destruction. The Greeks named it Ares, fierce and fiery. The Romans, borrowing these legends, gave it the name Mars, a celestial warrior marching across the sky, red like the sparks of a distant fire. The planet seemed to carry the very essence of battle and passion in its glow. It was a symbol of power and unpredictability. Yet, if you could wander its surface, if we could all stand, there you would find a quieter tale beneath. The myths of a world patiently tracing orbits in an ancient dance with the sun and its planetary siblings. Centuries passed, and people built models of the cosmos to explain Mars's wanderings. Early ideas placed Earth at the center, with planets moving in complicated loops called epicycles. It was like trying to solve a puzzle by adding more and more pieces without seeing the whole picture. Then, a new idea emerged, simpler, yet profoundly true. A sun-centered system, where Earth and Mars both circled the sun in their own paths, their movements weaving together in a cosmic ballet. It is from this perspective that retrograde motion loses its mystery, revealing itself as the elegant rhythm of planets catching up and overtaking one another along their orbits. You might find comfort in this thought. What once seemed like a strange hesitation is really a gentle reminder of perspective, of how our view can shape what we see. Just like our own lives, sometimes forward progress feels like a step back, inviting patience and reflection. With a telescope in hand, simple by today's standards, but astonishing in its time, Galileo peered at Mars and saw more than a red light. This was a world, a place with a surface and shape, not just a star. Mars became a tangible neighbor, inviting curiosity and the desire to understand. Later, improved telescopes revealed dark patches, bright polar caps changing with the seasons, and signs of an active planet. Mars's day is just over 2 hours, close enough to ours to feel familiar, and yet wrapped in a thin atmosphere and distant warmth. These details stirred imaginations, If Mars has seasons, polar ice, and flowing patterns, could it also hold life? The thought of canals built by intelligent beings captured minds, even if, later, we learned those canals were optical illusions. Still, they reflect a fundamental hope that in the vastness beyond Earth, life might find a way. As you listen with your eyes closed, picture Mars moving silently overhead, a steady pulse in the night. Its glowing presence is a cosmic rhythm, marking the passage of time on a scale far grander than we usually imagine. Ancient astronomers tracked Mars with skill and devotion, using its changing position to mark calendars, predict seasons, and guide journeys. In this way, Mars became woven into human life, a celestial rhythm that binds our nights to the timeless dance of the solar system. Now, with spacecraft orbiting and rovers exploring, our understanding deepens, yet the wonder remains. Mars continues its slow, deliberate journey, a celestial dancer whose steps trace stories written across billions of years. The Red Wanderer reminds you that even in seemingly still moments, the universe flows with motion and change. That patience and rhythm are at the heart of existence. Tonight, as you drift deeper into sleep, hold this gentle vision close, a glowing red ember weaving its timeless dance across the midnight sea, inviting you to slow down, to watch, and to wonder. As dreams gather around you, consider this. What might you see if you could ride among the stars with Mars? What stories would it share in the silence between its steps? Close your eyes for a moment and imagine drifting slowly through a quiet nursery, a cosmic nursery where worlds are born beneath the serene gaze of a young sun. Here, in the tender swirl of gas, dust, and shimmering ice, tiny grains drift and dance. Picture them as the earliest seeds of something vast, teach, particle, a note waiting to join a melody that will one day become a planet's story. Your mind settles on one small world forming not far from its brilliant star. This is Mars, a whisper of a planet developing in a place where the building blocks are scattered more thinly than around its larger sibling, Earth. It grows gently, shaped by gravity's subtle pull, gathering companions in pieces, each collision a careful brushstroke painting Mars into being. Though smaller and lighter than Earth, Mars still carries the quiet power of creation within. Your breath may slow as you picture molten iron swirling deep beneath its rusty skin, a glowing heart that once kept its surface alive with heat. This molten core is the planet's dynamic engine, stirring magnetic fields that reach outward, shimmering like an invisible shield. This magnetic embrace is vital. It guards the air itself, fending off the relentless solar winds that aim to strip Mars bare. Imagine now the surface, alive with turbulent energy. Volcanoes roar in their youth, spitting out rivers of lava that flow and spread like slow motion. Clouds of fire hover here with your mind's eye and gaze up at Olympus monster, greatest of these giants witch towers, more than 3 times higher than Mount Everest, yet slopes gently as if the world itself is stretching lazily toward the sky. The lack of shifting plates beneath the crust allows this volcano to pile layer upon layer, crafting a mountain the size of a country. Nearby, other colossal volcanoes rise, part of a vast volcanic plateau, whispering tales of inner heat and ancient fury. The landscape is marked by scars from celestial visitors' asteroids that punched deep craters into the surface, leaving stories in the rock. One such scar, the Borealis Basin, spans a hemisphere, a reminder that creation is often shaped by destruction. These marks speak to you of a violent, formative era when impacts reshaped the land and sometimes warmed the air, turning ice to water, power to possibility. Flowing rivers and still lakes once graced Mars's surface. Picture water carving soft valleys, tracing smooth pathways from highlands to lowlands. You might find yourself wandering along ancient riverbeds, their curves etched like quiet songs into dusty stone. In these no-dry places, layers of sediment tell stories of standing water, of quiet deltas where rivers spread wide before meeting larger lakes or seas. Imagine the gentle settling of sand and clay in this calm embrace. The soil itself, a keeper of history. Minerals hold their own tales. Some, like clays, require years of contact with flowing water to form, patiently recording the presence of a wetter world. Others, sulfates and salts, reveal changes in that world's chemistry, echoes of shifting climates, from neutral lakes to acidic pools. Through the spectral eyes of orbiting spacecraft, These chemical footprints are traced across the ancient terrains, proof of water's delicate dance running deep in Mars's history. Breathe in and feel the weight of time here. Martian heat once kept the surface warm and inviting, obfuscating the cold, distant sun with a thicker veil of gases. An atmosphere wrapped the planet like a soft blanket, holding warmth and breathable air, sheltering potential life beneath clouds, and possibly even snow. But that protective cloak slowly thinned. Your awareness sharpens as you sense the growing silence. The molten core slowed its spin, the magnetic shield faltered, and the solar wind began its quiet theft. Molecule by molecule, air slipped away into the void. Hydrogen, helium first, then carbon dioxide and water vapor. Warmth faded, and with it, the gentle cycles of water halted. Water retreated to hidden places, icy poles, underground veins, or vanished altogether. Rivers dried to memory. Lakes vanished beneath layers of cold dust. Yet those memories remain, frozen in stone for a patient audience willing to listen. Now you might picture yourself standing quietly, a visitor suspended in stillness, surrounded by the echoes of volcanic bursts, asteroid scars, and the slow, ceaseless stirring of ancient winds. The landscape before you is barren, yet each grain of sand holds the imprint of flowing waters and fiery fire. Mars's story is one of endurance, to slow letting go of heat, atmosphere, liquid water, and perhaps even life. Yet, it is also a tale of faithful memory, where landscapes remain practically unchanged for billions of years, where the river valley you trace was carved long before humans walked or dreamed of other worlds. As your mind wanders along these ancient beds, you might find a strange kinship growing, a sense that Mars, though quiet now, is still alive in its own way, holding deep within the possibilities of change and the faintest echoes of what once was. Before you drift off into the quiet hum of night, imagine the soft orange light casting long shadows from these dormant giants, the cool wind gently stirring fine dust, and the patient sweep of time carrying you gently forward to the next chapter. If you listen closely, Mars continues to whisper, inviting you into its slow, unfolding story, a story of fiery beginnings, gentle flow, patient loss, and the eternal dance between change and memory. In the quiet that follows the storm, close your eyes and imagine the soft murmur of ancient secrets carried beneath the surface of a mysterious world. Mars, a land of red dust and endless skies, holds more than what meets the eye. Beneath its rust-colored deserts and frozen polar caps, the planet whispers stories of hidden water, deep shadows, and a past that still reaches into the present. Feel the gentle pull of your mind as it drifts beneath the Martian crust, to places where light does not reach, but life, if it has ever existed here, might still persist. Picture pockets of salty liquid water, nestled like precious jewels in the cold dark, shielded from the fierce rays of the sun and cosmic storms. Water, that eternal giver of life, tucked safely away where change is measured in slow breaths of time. This subsurface realm is a sanctuary, a quiet refuge where the thin atmosphere above cannot intrude. As you journey inward, imagine the soft glow of heat from the planet's core. Though Mars's heart is cooler now, shaped by time and isolation, it still pulses faintly, like a dying ember beneath ash. This warmth could keep melted water flowing in the cracks beneath the frozen soil, gentle caress against the harshness of the surface. Here, in the quiet of deep tunnels or saline lakes, life might find a way. Hidden from sight, but alive with possibility. Now drift to the surface, where dust devils dance like playful spirits across vast plains. These spirals of wind lift fine grains of iron-rich dust, spinning slowly in the thin atmosphere. Each tiny particle lifted becomes part of a greater story, carried on invisible currents around the planet, settling again and again to paint evolving patterns on ancient stone. Imagine dust devils as nature's delicate brushstrokes, tracing silent paths, leaving fleeting marks on a grand, unending canvas. Lift your gaze to the sky, which is soft and warm in its butterscotch hues. The sky here does not shout its colors, as on Earth, but whispers them in gentle gradients. At sunset, it reveals a secret melody, a quiet dance of blue light centered around the sinking sun, a breathtaking reversal of our familiar twilight. It is a tender moment where day slips softly into night, painting the horizon with pastel colors that fade as stars begin their silent watch. Feel the vast stillness that surrounds you, the absence of rustling leaves or distant creatures, replaced by the gentle hiss of carbon dioxide whispering over rocky plains. Sound travels differently here, carried on fragile waves that dampen and stretch slowly, creating a quiet world where every noise feels intimate and rare. The faint crackle of dust underfoot, the subtle creak of machinery far away, the soft flutter of sand stirred by an unseen breeze become part of a symphony of stillness. Let these whispers and visions settle gently in your mind as you consider the delicate balance of life and loss. On this distant planet, Mars's surface is a canvas of change and endurance. It holds the faintest traces of water, the scars of ancient rivers and seas, and the mineral fingerprints of past warmth. Yet it challenges life with cold nights, harsh radiation, and an atmosphere too thin to provide comfort. As you rest in this thought, imagine the explorers' machines now. Soon, perhaps humans who will tread softly here. They come not only to seek answers buried beneath layers of stone and dust, but to listen to the silence, to the soft stories waiting to be told, to the quiet promise in every grain of sand, stirred by the wind. They are the new voices in the timeless conversation between Mars and the stars. Before you drift fully into sleep, carry with you the image of Phobos and Deimos, the two silent watchers traveling swiftly across the dyed canvas of the Martian sky. Small, rugged, and dark, they spin a slow, unbroken dance around this patient planet. Their paths remind you that even in solitude, there is connection, the dance of moons and planets, of time and change, of past and future. And perhaps, in that quiet night under a sky both foreign and familiar, you feel the gentle kinship between worlds, between this red planet and your own blue home. Two siblings bound by the sun, carrying stories of water and wind, of dust and dreams. Their tales intertwine, inviting us to wonder, to explore, and to rest in the shared silence of the universe. Soft waves once kissed the distant shores, under skies of pink and gentle roars. Silent now, the oceans fade away, yet in their whispers, secrets stay. Imagine yourself standing on the vast, open plains of Mars, your feet rooted in ancient soil that once cradled oceans deep and wide. You can almost hear the faint murmur of water traveling through long-forgotten channels, the trembling sigh of seas that shimmered under a pastel sky. Today, Mars is quieter desert planet bathed in the soft butterscotch glow of its thin atmosphere. If you close your eyes, you can drift back in time to a world very different from the one you see billions of years ago. Mars was a planet where liquid water flowed freely across the surface, shaping the land with gentle rivers, vast lakes, and perhaps a northern ocean stretching across continent-sized basins. This ocean wasn't like the roaring seas on Earth, but a quieter, more delicate expanse, where light danced off waves just enough to cradle the possibility of life. You were drawn into this ancient moment, feeling the contrast between the gentle flow of water and the still silence that now reigns. The science behind this vision is a map written in rock and dust, uncovered by orbiters and rovers tirelessly, observing Mars from just above and on its dusty soil. Like a subtle artist, water etched patterns into the planet's surface, carving channels and deltas that remain visible even today, frozen in time like memories in stone. These were not the erratic scars left by wind or fleeting weather, but shaped paths where water patiently sought its way downhill. Folding the landscape into shapes we recognize as signature language shared with Earth. Picture a river gently flowing into a broad delta, its waters slowing and spreading as they meet a lake or ocean, dropping layers of sediment rich in minerals. This scene plays out across Mars millions of years ago. The delta in Jezero crater, now explored by the Perseverance rover, stands as one of these telling remnants, a wide fan of sediment nestled into a basin, holding clues about a calm, watery past. Minerals like clays, which form only with consistent contact with liquid water, decorate these ancient beds. Sulfates, too, signal bodies of evaporating water, fragile chemical footprints dating the passing of time. As you walk alongside those vanished rivers in your mind, you may sense the gentle warmth of a pink-hued sky, the soft rustle of clouds drifting above. The thick atmosphere that once enveloped Mars served like a blanket, gently holding in warmth and cushioning the planet's surface from the harshness of space. But over countless millennia, the protective magnetic shield that once wrapped Mars in safety faded away. Its molten core cooled, the invisible field weakened, and the relentless solar wind slowly swept away the atmosphere, molecule by molecule. Imagine that process as the slow peeling of layers from a protective coat, revealing the fragile world beneath. Without the atmosphere's pressure, water could no longer rest on the surface. It froze into the polar caps or slipped underground, hidden in icy veins beneath the soil. The ancient oceans retreated, leaving behind only silent shorelines sketched faintly across the northern plains, raised ridges and terraces, like the ghostly outlines of beaches waiting for waves that will never return. This transformation wasn't abrupt, but a long, patient fading, like a sunset stretching across millions of years. The thinning air turned the sky to a muted butterscotch, the sun to a smaller, softer ember than the fierce brilliance you're used to. Days warmed briefly near the equator, only to plunge into bitter cold at night. The wind, though often swift, felt like a feather's touch on your skin, carrying dust particles as fine as smoke, swirling in great dust devils that dance lazily across the plains. Your body feels the strange stillness of quiet, carved out by the absence of rushing water, rustling leaves, or buzzing life. But this silence is not empty. It's layered with stories whispered by the land itself. Every basin, every dried riverbed, every mineral grain holds a fragment of a time when Mars was alive with water, chemistry, and the possibility of life. It is the kind of silence that lets your mind wander deep into the cosmos, where patience outlasts urgency and mystery invites gentle wonder. The ancient ocean's memory lingered in Mars' thin atmosphere, a fragile veil shifting with the seasons. As carbon dioxide froze and sublimated at the poles, these rhythmic breaths of the planet, the winter's solid embrace and summer's gaseous release, create a planetary pulse you might almost feel if you stood there long enough. Imagine standing on the edge of that vanished sea, feeling the frozen air beneath your feet, and looking out across a wide plain, swept clean of water but rich with stories. The shorelines appear like delicate brushstrokes, reminding you that even lost things leave a mark. An ocean may have been Mars' cradle, quiet, slow, nurturing, yet as its breath faded, the world changed, closing a chapter but whispering the promise of secrets still held in hidden depths below. If there is a lesson in these whispers, it is the reminder of life's fragility, but also of its enduring possibility. Mars may have lost its surface waters, but beneath the soil, in salty pockets warmed by the planet's faint heat, liquid water might still flow. Perhaps there, hidden away, life could linger, shielded from the sun's harsh gaze and ready to greet the curious explorers who dare to seek. As your breathing slows and your eyes close gently, picture the journey of droplets falling quietly as frost on Martian dawn dunes, the soft folding of the planet's dust in a gentle breeze, and the vast, patient shapes of mountains and canyons standing watch over time's slow dance. Let the whispers of ancient oceans carry you deeper into dreams, where science and poetry meet, where curiosity and calm coexist. And as you drift toward sleep, carry with you the quiet strength of Mars, a world shaped by water and wind, light and shadow, still waiting to share its stories with you. Asterisk, may your dreams carry you lightly across Martian dunes and timeless seas, wrapped in the gentle hum of the cosmos. Beneath the thin and dusty sky, Mars turns slowly, seasons glide by, a quiet dance of frost and light, whispers of time in day and night. As you settle deeper into rest, imagine the slow and graceful rhythm of Martian seasons gently unfolding around you. The planet spins with a quiet heart, its axis tilted just enough to cast long shadows and fill the thin air with soft patterns of frost and dust. Unlike the friendly bounce of Earth's seasons, Mars's dance moves at a slower pace, with each moment stretching longer, more deliberate, as if inviting your mind to drift and explore without hurry. Your body feels a lightness here, a tenderness, wrapped in the faint butterscotch sky that warms the horizon despite the chill beneath. Mars carries its seasons like a whispered secret, a subtle unfolding known only to those who truly listen. It tilts nearly 25 degrees close, enough to Earth's tilt to give you a sense of familiarity, yet far enough to create a world of slow change. Each season lasts about twice as long as ours, inviting patience and reflection. You can almost feel the creeping frost that paints dunes with an icy brush during the long winters, a frost only a few microns thick but enough to transform the barren landscape into shimmering hills of white. The air itself holds a quiet alchemy, cycling carbon dioxide between atmosphere and ether, breeze that exhales frost in winter and inhales it back in summer. Imagine standing on a ridge as the sun arcs low, sending light that dances over spiraling troughs carved into the polar ice. These spirals twist deep, like frozen rivers flowing beneath a veil of crystalline silence. The ice here tells 1,000 stories, layer by layer, a cosmic diary written by snowfall, dust, and time itself. As the seasons turn, these layers breathe, expanding and retreating, a gentle pulse to the quiet heart of Mars. Under the glow of endless summer days, the polar caps shrink, their dry ice sublimating directly into gas, releasing jets that burst through the cracked surface with hidden power. Picture these jets carrying dust and sand, painting dark fan-shaped stains across the sparkling white, a delicate dance of erosion and renewal beneath soft pastel skies. The very atmospheric shifts with this frozen breath, pressure rising and falling, as if Mars itself inhales and exhales, keeping its balance in the cosmic dance. Your mind gently follows the winds that stir the dust, raising towering dust devils that pirouette like silent dancers across the plains. These whirling columns stretch hundreds of meters into the sky, spinning with a graceful persistence despite the thinness of the atmosphere. It's a quiet spectacle, a reminder that even in stillness, Mars moves with intention. In the distance, the deserts ripple with dunes shaped by eons of wind, their shadows shifting softly as the light changes. Colors here are muted yet complex, with rusty reds blending into subtle ochres, soft tans, and delicate grays. The dust acts as both painter and storykeeper, coating rock and sand alike, smoothing rough edges and weaving a tapestry that shifts slowly over time. Unlike Earth's seasons, marked by the chorus of life, Martian seasons are a silent symphony. There are no trees to rustle, no oceans to roar, only the quiet persistence of ice and dust, the slow migration of frost, and the distant hum of ancient volcanoes resting beneath the surface. But even this silence is rich, filled with the gentle breath of a planet that has endured billions of years. As you prepare to drift deeper into sleep, imagine the cold night falling swiftly once the sun dips below the horizon. Without a thick atmosphere to hold on to warmth, temperatures plunge rapidly, dropping dozens of degrees in hours. Yet, in that chill, there is a profound stillness, a reminder that Mars is patient, shaped by time on scales far beyond human life. Think of the sunsets here, a striking reversal of Earth's fiery closing. Martian sunsets glow with a soft blue light near the sun, framed by warm oranges and deep reds around the horizon. It is a delicate play of colors created by dust particles scattering sunlight differently than our dense atmosphere ever could. This quiet glow spills across the land like a lullaby, drawing the day gently to rest. The dance of Mars's seasons also shapes its storms. Occasionally, dust storms grow from local whispers into planet-wide blankets, turning the red world into a glowing sphere of pale orange for weeks or even months. These storms do not howl with furious winds like on Earth. Instead, they carry a slow, creeping power, dimming sunlight and wrapping the planet in a dusty veil that challenges even the most enduring explorers. Through it all, the Martian seasons remind us of resilience, how a world can be both fragile and persistent. It teaches your mind to slow, to find comfort in the slow unfolding of change, to appreciate the beauty that comes not from urgency, but from the patient passage of time. As you breathe slowly now, feel the gentle unfolding of this cosmic rhythm wash over your thoughts. Let the memory of frost settle in quietly on dunes, and the soft, slow turning of seasons cradle you. Mars asks you to listen to its silence, its dust, its elusive whispers, and in that space, find your own peaceful stillness. Drift now, carried by the steady pulse of a world waiting patiently for stories yet to be told, dreams yet to be dreamed. Under the soft butterscotch sky of the ancient red planet, may your sleep be deep and gentle, held in the embrace of Mars's silent, slow dance of seasons. In silent swirls of rust and light, dust drifts soft within your sight. Mountains rise like whispered dreams. Moons dance by the starlit beams. Here Mars tells its quiet tales. So near, so far away. As you settle in, feel the soft dust of Mars brushing past. Imagine it not as a threat, but as a gentle storyteller. Each tiny grain a page of an ancient book. The dust that cloaks this world is finer than talcum powder, spun from billions of years of sun, wind, and the slow dance of iron rusting beneath a thin, fragile sky. This iron oxide dust is what gives Mars its gentle butterscotch glow, softening the edges of a landscape shaped by patient time. Close your eyes and picture how even a whisper of wind can lift these particles off the ground, sending them swirling in great airy spirals called dust devils. These slender whirlwinds can rise over a kilometer high, turning desert plains into shifting tapestries. Yet, they carry no savage force like Earth's storms. Instead, their gentle spin paints fleeting shadows and tells you that even the lightest breath can move something vast. Sometimes, when the season is right, this dance grows grander, planet-wide dust storm rising like a soft orange fog, swallowing the sunlight and folding Mars into a quiet haze. It is a slow melody of movement, a reminder that even stillness has its rhythms. Now, breathe deeply and let your mind climb with me too. Olympus Mons. Imagine a mountain so vast it could hold entire countries beneath its slopes, stretching nearly 22 kilometers high, almost 3 times taller than Earth's Everest. It is the largest volcano ever to rise in our solar system. Here, Mars's crust does not shift as Earth's does. Instead, a single fiery heart beneath its surface kept pouring out lava, building gentle slopes over millions of years. This mountain stands as a monument to quiet endurance, strong and slow. A giant's whisper in the thin atmosphere. Beyond Olympus Mons, imagine a wide volcanic region called Tharsis, dotted with colossal peaks, each standing with calm grandeur. They tell stories of fierce inner heat and fire, now long dormant. These earthly giants, silent and still, invite you to feel the slow passage of eons, the fading warmth beneath a frozen sky. Drifting from calm summits to shadowed depths. Your journey takes you to Valles Marineris, a canyon so vast it could swallow entire countries. A deep, winding scar over 4,000 kilometers long, about 10 times the length of Earth's Grand Canyon. Picture the walls rising centuries high, colored in reds and yellows by the weak Martian sun, casting long, soft shadows that stretch like fingers over ancient stone. This canyon is a quiet archive, its layered cliffs a diary of volcanic ash, ancient riverbeds, and the slow caress of wind. The tale it tells is one of slow fractures in the crust, widened gently by landslides and flickers of water long since gone to frost or dust. Imagine standing at the canyon's floor, the air around you slightly warmer, the pressure a bit thicker. Then the open plains, the wind slips in slow currents, stirring fine dust that dances silently, etching new patterns over the ancient rock. Above, the sky folds into a narrow ribbon of light, framed by towering cliffs, while the quiet whispers of Martian dust ride the breeze. Here, in this grand cathedral of stone, your footsteps would echo faintly, a soft reminder that you are part of a story far larger than yourself. Lift your gaze again. Higher still, the shimmering crowns at Mars's poles. The polar caps are great layered blankets of water, ice, and frozen carbon dioxide, sculpted year after year by gentle winds and harsh seasons. In the deep chill of winter, carbon dioxide freezes like frost on your windows, thickening the ice in a slow, natural breath that cycles with the light of the sun. In summer, that frozen gas returns slowly to the air, nudging the planet's atmosphere and its delicate balance. These icy realms hold the memories of millions of years, the rhythm of a planet's tilt, the slow heating and cooling that spins the seasons. Beneath those layers lies water hidden and silent, enough to cover the whole planet in an ancient ocean more than 10 meters deep. Picture, if you will, massive sheets of ice that might someday fuel the dreams of explorers. Their crisp waters, a promise of life and renewal in an otherwise quiet world. Now, cast your eyes skyward to the 2 tiny moons that glide silently above Euphorbus and Deimos. Unlike Earth's glowing companion, these are misshapen boulders, small and dark, drifting in slow, ancient orbits. Phobos races around Mars so quickly it crosses the sky several times each day, a restlessly falling stone that will one day break apart or crash, possibly creating a fleeting ring, a delicate halo that would dress Mars in new glory. Deimos drifts slowly away from the planet, destined for freedom in the vastness beyond. Imagine standing beneath their watchful gaze, feeling the vast gulf of space between your quiet steps and the distant Earth, a tiny blue jewel suspended against dark velvet. The sight and the silence combine into a gentle weighing of your place in the cosmos. Mars doesn't shout, it whispers, ever patient, ever enduring. And so, dear listener, as you draw your breath slowly and let your thoughts drift like dust in these thin airs, know that Mars is a world of gentle strength and enduring mystery. It is a place that teaches us to listen to the stories written softly in its dust, to the slow breath of its seasons, and to the quiet pull of distant moons. Though cold and still, this planet holds a beauty that is easy to carry in your heart, the vast, gentle dance of dust and stone, sky and silence. Mars invites you to slow your mind, to wander softly, and to feel a kinship across space and time. Here, in this quiet light, your journey pause is not with an ending, but with a gentle question lingering like a soft breeze. What stories might Mars share with us next? What hidden songs lie folded among its ancient stones, waiting for a patient listener, for you? Rest now, with the soft Martian dusk cradling your thoughts, the whisper of wind and dust a lullaby for your imagination. The red planet watches quietly, a steadfast companion in the cosmic night, always waiting for our return. Let this thought carry you gently into sleep, where dreams expand beneath stars you can almost reach, and where the mysteries of Mars will shimmer softly, growing clearer with each dawn. Softly now, the stillness calls, a muted world, with secret thralls. The whispers float on thin, cool air, a silent song both strange and rare. You listen close, and Mars will share its story. Fair, as your eyes grow heavy and your breath slows, let your mind drift closer to Mars, again not just to see, but to listen. Mars is a planet of quiet songs, subtle and whispered in a language of wind and dust. Imagine standing on this gentle world, where sound itself behaves differently. The air you breathe here, if you could without a suit, is so thin that even the faintest noise barely reaches far. It is less a world of echoes and loud sounds, and more a place where silences speak. The wind is no roaring tempest, but a soft, steady hiss. It glides through narrow spaces like a sigh, brushing softly past your ears. Imagine the hiss changing tone as gusts pass by, rising and falling like a distant breath, gentle and intimate, a fragile conversation between the air and the land. This whispering wind stirs the fine iron-rich dust in slow spirals, carrying stories from places far away, swirling across ancient rocks and fading riverbeds. Every so often, you might hear the soft crunch of your own boots against the gravel, your breathing gentle and steady inside your helmet. Even the movements of the rover beside you become part of this muted symphony, the slow creak of wheels, the crisp snap of tiny laser pulses firing to study rocks, crackling like distant static. In the serene air, Mars is an artist of sound, painting a calm that invites your mind to wander gently into stillness. Where Earth's wilderness sings with birdsong, rustling leaves, and flowing streams, Mars offers a silence that is almost tangible. This quiet is not emptiness, but a patient presence, a lullaby that stretches across millennia, shaped by the delicate dance of molecules and the shifting rhythms of seasons. This stillness is ancient. It existed long before your hearing began, and it will continue long after. It holds a promise, the promise that here, in this serene expanse, you have space to breathe, to think, and to dream. This quiet planet harbors mysteries beyond sound. Beneath its surface, pockets of water might still survive, hidden and protected from the harsh sunlight, safe places where life, if it ever took root, may endure quietly, waiting for us to listen deeper for their subtle signs. The methane we detect in the atmosphere, an elusive, fleeting breath, could be the faint exhale of that hidden life, or the slow song of ancient chemical dances below. The mission of exploration is one of patience and gentle curiosity. We send rovers like Perseverance not just to roam and record, but to listen to the land, to the wind, and to the faint chemical whispers in the rocks. These machines become our eyes and ears, filling the silence with knowledge without shattering the fragile calm. On Earth, life sounds loud and vibrant, but here, on Mars, that same life, if it exists, would keep a humble silence. It would nestle deep underground, sheltered from radiation and the thin, cold air. Reaching for those hidden voices is the next chapter in our quest, a delicate search for ghosts in a sea of quiet. Even as we wonder if life still breathes in secret, the surface tells a story with every particle of dust, with every sweep of wind. The dust is not just a covering, but an archive. It holds fragments of ancient rivers, volcanic echoes, and the vanished seas. It carries chemical clues that may someday reveal the secrets of Mars's past, its possible living moments, or the fading footprints of biology long gone. The silence here sharpens your senses. You notice the subtle texture of the butterscotch sky, the muted blue halos of dust scattering sunset light, and the faint glow of the small moons, Phobos and Deimos, skating swiftly and softly above. Their quiet passage across the sky is a reminder you are not alone in this cosmic stillness. This silence invites you to slow your thoughts and open your heart. It is a quiet space where curiosity is gentle, where wonder does not shout but whispers. Here, you can feel the patient heartbeat of a planet that has endured billions of years alone, waiting for explorers who listen with respect. As you drift toward sleep, carry with you this quiet companionship. Mars does not demand your noise or hurry. It asks only that you be still, that you pay attention to the soft sigh of wind on iron dust, that you imagine the slow passages of time folded deep in its frozen layers and cracked rocks. Perhaps, in that gentle waiting, Mars and your mind meet in a peaceful place, a place where science becomes a poem, where the cosmos hums a song of ages, and where you, too, become part of this quiet story. So breathe slowly. Let the stillness wrap around you like a soft blanket. Imagine the silent dance of dust and light, and let your thoughts drift like the whispered wind across distant stars. And with that gentle thought, roll softly into sleep, cradled by the quiet song of the red planet, the planet that waits patiently, softly, eternally. A gentle journey into the heart of dreams, where red dust whispers of distant footsteps, and the quiet sky bends close with soft invitation, inviting your mind to wander among stars. As your body drifts into peaceful sleep, as you settle deeper into your calm space, imagine yourself standing gently on a strange shore. Before you lies not water, but endless plains of rust-colored dust, stretching softly beneath a sky tinted the warm hue of butterscotch. The sun hangs smaller and dimmer than you have ever seen, filtering its light through an atmosphere so thin and fragile it barely whispers around you. This is Mars, not just a distant point of glowing red in the night sky, but a place waiting patiently, filled with silent stories and ancient echoes. Your footsteps disturb the surface dust, sending small clouds swirling upward and drifting slowly, almost in slow motion, in Mars's gentle gravity. The air you breathe is not free, but carefully carried in your suit, wrapping your lungs in a fragile bubble of life. Outside it is cold, much colder than any winter night you've known, with temperatures dropping sharply once the sun sinks beyond the horizon. And yet, beneath that chill, there is a quiet warmth, a warmth born of human hope, reaching across millions of miles to this quiet, patient world. Mars is not just a planet of red dust and rocky hills. It is a place that has beckoned humanity's curiosity for millennia. Long before our machines left Earth, people looked up and wondered about that wandering red light, a fiery ember drifting slowly across the constellations. They weaved myths and gods around it, linked it to tales of war and destiny, sensing in its steady glow something both fierce and mysterious. Today, we bring those very whispers from dreams into the light of science. The dream to stand on Mars, to breathe its thin air, to explore its vast canyons and towering volcanoes, feels closer now than ever before. Yet the journey is far more than a physical crossing of space. It is crossing a boundary of imagination and understanding, of bravery and patience. You carry not just your body, but the hopes of countless generations who have stared upward and dared to dream what lies beyond. Living on Mars is a delicate balance between fragility and strength, risk and possibility. This planet wears its challenges plainly. The air here is less than 1% as thick as Earth's. It cannot support life as you know it. The atmosphere, mostly carbon dioxide, offers no shield from harmful radiation streaming from the sun and deep space. Your suit must be a fortress, your habitat a careful sanctuary warmed against biting cold. Every breath, every drop of water, every seed of life must be tended like the finest treasure. But the planet itself offers its own gifts. Hidden beneath surface dust and ancient rock lie reserves of ice, frozen water that, if gently coaxed, could become the foundation for sustaining life here. Imagine harvesting that ice, melting it slowly into drinkable water, splitting it into oxygen for breath and hydrogen for fuel, creating a little oasis amid the vast desert. With technology, the soil, dusty and rich in iron, may one day nurture green crops reaching toward a sky you cannot breathe. As your thoughts wander, picture the robotic explorers that have paved this path with tire tracks in the dust. These quiet machines have endured storms, explored valleys carved by ancient waters, and drilled into rock to read the stories inked across billions of years. Their discoveries whisper of a time when Mars was warmer, wetter, a place where rivers once danced, and oceans might have swelled in the low northern plains. Each discovery a page in the cosmic diary, each image a thread weaving together the story of life, death, and endurance on this small red world. You feel the weight of silence here, to a silence unlike any on Earth. No rustling leaves, no distant bird calls or ocean waves. Instead, a hush that wraps around you, as though the entire planet is holding its breath. The wind sighs softly, carrying fine dust in lazy spirals that trace the contours of dunes like frozen waves. In this stillness, your mind settles, quiets, and listens more deeply. Sound is sparse but profound, the faint hiss of air in your helmet, the crunch of footsteps, the delicate tapping of sand grains, shifting under unseen breeze. Here, every sound is a solitary note in a vast, ancient melody. Yet, even with such serene solitude, there is movement and change, slow and steady, like the patient heartbeat of time itself. The polar ice caps breathe with the seasons, trapping and releasing carbon dioxide in a ritual as old as the planet's orbit. Phobos and Deimos, two small, irregular moons, circle overhead in a dance both ancient and fleeting, their fates bound to Mars's own story. 1. Phobos races across the sky several times each day, slowly spiraling inward, destined someday to break apart and encircle Mars in a shimmering ring. The other, Deimos, drifts slowly away into the darkness, a gentle wanderer bidding farewell. When you look up from Mars, the pale blue dot of Earth shines small but radiant. It carries all you know, every ocean, every mountain, every story that led you here. That dot is a distant memory and a reminder of fragility and home. The emotional weight of such distance presses softly on your heart. Communication with Earth is not a whisper, but a measured letter, delayed by the vast gulf of space, turning conversation into a quiet meditation on connection and patience. Gradually, your mind drifts into thoughts of what it takes to call Mars home. The long journey through deep space, months in a confined ship, shielded against invisible harms, surrounded by only a small crew and the hum of engineered life. The delicate steps on arrival, each portion of your habitat a testament to human ingenuity and care. The daily rhythms rewritten by the alien cadence of this new world. You carry within you questions older than any recorded history. Could life have taken root here, in these ancient lakes and riverbeds? Or did the cold, thin air and relentless radiation drive it underground, into salty brines warmed by hidden heat? The search continues, with rovers like Perseverance collecting samples destined for Earth, where our laboratories will peer through every shadow for signs of microbial whispers. Every piece tells of hope and mystery, of science's patient quest to understand. Your body relaxes, eyes heavy as the cosmic dance slowly continues overhead. Mars is no longer just a distant light, but a place alive with the quiet promise of discovery and change. It asks not only for our exploration, but invites our listening to its stories etched in stone. Its dust swept by unseen winds, its silence woven deeply into the fabric of time. Rest now in that thought. The quiet audacity of human dreams stretched across space, the gentle hum of machines tracing new paths, the endless sky sprinkled with stars, watching over a world both alien and familiar, waiting for your next step. In this stillness, you find a kind of kinship between Earth and Mars, past and future, curiosity and wonder. Sleep comes softly, carried on the thin Martian breeze, wrapping you gently in the quiet embrace of a planet vast in time and space, companion in the night, holding the promise of tomorrow's dawn. In the quiet breath of swirling dust, where ancient stones hold secrets deep, the wind tells stories soft and slow, of vanished streams and skies once warm, a gentle song to carry you to dreams. Close your eyes and feel the soft pull of Mars's desert air, a breath thinner than the faintest sigh on Earth. Imagine the wind here not a force of thunderous storms, but a quiet, patient whisper weaving through crimson dunes and jagged rocks. Though subtle, it is an artist, shaping the landscape with invisible fingers, sculpting ripples in the dust like waves frozen in time. This wind carries a story, an ancient history echoing across millions of years. Long ago, when Mars was young and the air thick enough to cradle clouds, The breeze would have been a messenger of life-giving change. It might have stirred leaves along riverbanks or swept gentle rains across vast plains. But now, in the thin atmosphere that barely clings to this red world, the wind moves differently. It is a delicate dancer, curved by the planet's low gravity and the fine iron-rich dust that follows its every swirl. That dust is no ordinary powder but a careful recorder of Mars's past. Each grain, smaller than a speck of flour, holds a fragment of story stones crushed by time and tempered by the invisible rusting of iron. Together, billions of these grains make the planet glow with a rusty warmth, painting the sky in soft shades of butterscotch during the day and bathing sunsets in fleeting hues of blue. These colors, shifting and subtle, are the planet's quiet music, sung without sound. As you imagine, standing on this alien soil, listen not for loud noises, but for the soft whispers of the wind itself. On rare days, dust devils rise like slow spirals of smoke, their twisting columns silently crossing the plains, briefly stirring the ancient dust into life, only to settle once more. These graceful whirls are gentle by earthly standards, not fierce storms, but soft breaths that remind us Mars is alive in its own patient way. When the wind gathers, it can carry dust high into the alabaster sky, sometimes sparking dust storms that cloak the entire planet in a pale orange shroud. These storms are not mere storms of wind and fury, but slow-moving veils that dim sunlight and darken the landscape to twilight shades. For the machines exploring these distant fields, they are trials of endurance, pressing against delicate solar panels and turning quiet explorations into waits for light's return. Yet even these grand storms are part of a balance, shaping weather patterns and influencing thin clouds of ice crystals or carbon dioxide that drift above. Mars's atmosphere may seem fragile, but it breathes in cycles, breathing in solid carbon dioxide as frost at its poles during the long cold winters, then breathing it back out into gas as spring warms the frost to mist. Imagine this dance, as the planet's slow, rhythmic pulse, a giant, cosmic inhalation and exhalation that marks the passage of Martian years. Below, the swirling dust and frost lies a deeper mystery, a silence that feels both vast and intimate. Mars is quieter than Earth, quieter even than the Moon. Its low air density carries sounds in strange ways. Voices would be softer, echoes faint and distant. The very air seems too thin to hold a song, but with the sensitive ears of the rovers, we hear the subtle music of Mars. The hiss of a gentle breeze, the quiet scrape of wheels across gravel, the snap of lasers touching rocks. These are the planet's private melodies, delicate and rare. Imagine yourself wrapped in stillness beneath a sky softly glowing salmon and gold, knowing that each whisper of wind is millions of years old, a breath carried across ancient river, valleys and volcanic plains. It tells of a Mars that once held flowing water, clouds, and perhaps even murmurs of life. Now, it hums quietly in dusty silence, waiting patiently for the next visitor to listen and learn. Pause with this thought as sleep deepens. Mars's winds may be faint, but their story is powerful. They remind us that even the quietest places are full of motion and meaning. They carry the memory of lost oceans and vanished skies, shaping a landscape that invites both science and wonder. The dust is more than soil, it is a timeless diary, each grain a letter from a world transformed by patience and change. Let your mind drift gently on the breath of these ancient winds, feeling the slow rhythm of a planet's heartbeat, steady and calm. Sleep comes softly here, beneath a silent sky painted in colors you have never seen but can feel a quiet invitation to dream of worlds beyond our own and the endless stories whispered on winds that have traveled far beyond time.